Find the height of the lighthouse in the diagram below. Now I can drop this down here, and of course this is the height we actually want just here, and that's a right angle. But if we look at the right angle to triangle, we actually just know this angle and we don't know anything else. But I can work out the length of the hypotenuse of that right angle triangle by using this triangle at the front here. We know angles on a straight line add to 180, and if this is 50, that means that this one is 130. Now 130 and 38 gives me 168. Angles in a triangle add to 180, so that leaves this as being 12 degrees at the top here. Now I'm trying to work out this length, the length of the hypotenuse. So if I label this, I'm going to call this one A, that's the one I'm trying to find, and then this angle down here is big A. Let's call this one B, and then this angle up here, the 12 degrees, is big B. So we can use the sine rule. Again, if you want to use the table layout to see that, at this stage, since all the questions are sine rule, it's not that important. But when you have both sine and cosine rules available to you, this is going to become a good way of telling which one you use. So this is 130, this is x, so we don't know that. This one is 12, and this one is 25, so we do know a complete row. So we can state A over sine A is equal to B over sine B, and then that's x over sine 130 is equal to 25 over sine 12. Now I'm going to use the activity for this. So activity, I'm wanting the sine rule. I'm trying to find A, given that big A is 130, B is 25, and angle B is 12. And we'll just solve on that, and that gives us 92.112. And I'm just keeping the extra decimal place there because I'm going to probably get my final answer to 2 decimal places, so it's always a good idea to keep an extra one, like so. Now for the outside triangle, let's just highlight that. So that's the hypotenuse. We just worked out the value of x, and then the shorter sides of that one, and the height. So what do we now know? We know this x over here. We know that that is 92.112. And if I'm doing right angle to triangle trigonometry, you don't have to, but that's what I'm going to do. This one is the hypotenuse. Let's just label it HYP since I've called this height. Now we know this angle in that right angle to triangle, and compared to that angle, this side is the opposite. If we use SO, CAR, TOA, opposite and hypotenuse means we're using sine. So sine of the angle is equal to the opposite, which is h, over the hypotenuse, which we know is 92.112. And since I'm in activities, I'm just going to use the sine here. And we know the angle is 38. The opposite is what we're trying to find. And we know the hypotenuse is 92.112. And then we'll just solve that. And that gives us 56.71. So h is equal to 56.71 meters.